stop telling that. My microphone's on.
Yes.
Hopefully everyone can hear me. Well, welcome to the first briefing meeting for our Ordinary Council meeting for 2022. We have closed the meeting to the public but are live streaming given the current COVID restrictions. And thank you everybody for wearing masks, but I'll take mine off to talk so you can actually hear me. Can I go around the room firstly and have any conflicts of interest declared and in which item, please, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. CEO. Obviously, conflict in relation to T1 as per previous council meeting, and it'll be identified in the next council meeting coming up later this month.
Thank you. Councillor Bartels?
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I have a declarable conflict of interest in item T1 as per previous meetings, and we'll give the reasons at the actual ordinary meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Honour?
Yes, Mr. CEO. I have a declarable conflict in regard to K1 in relation to open for development, as I have an open development contract with council on a development with my company, Coach Trail Investment Pty Limited, and I wish to leave the room.
Councillor Barnes?
Yeah, conflict of interest for C1.
Councillor McLaughlin? Councillor Haberman?
No conflicts.
Councillor Mitchell? And Councillor Lemon. Thank you very much. And I neglected to put the apologies in for Councillor Trevor, Councillor McPhee, and I think we have Councillor Cooper online. And conflict in T1. Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Okay, we'll move on to the first item then, which is the financial summary as of December. Simon, welcome.
Financial summary as at the 24th of December. Just noting that the budget that was recently adopted by council last month is included within this report. Rates and utility charges, you'll note in the report that the water fund is below 50%. That's reflective of the water consumption for the first half of the year, which was 40% of the overall expected for the year. That is in line with previous years where there's ordinarily a higher usage in the second half of the year. So we expect that the water consumption for the full year will be in line with the budget. Just worth noting that we expect at this stage that the land sales will exceed the budget amount. We had 560,000 in the budget this year. We expect sales this year will exceed that. In terms of recurrent expenditure, there is a slight underspend at the half year. However, we expect that by 30 June that will be in line with budget. Just worth noting that the waste fund currently is slightly over budget. We expect that will also align with some of the changes to the landfill hours taking effect in the latter half of the financial year. Capital expenditure year to date is 30.6 million. That's a total budget of $93.4 million for capital spend on projects this year. Cash at reporting date was 146.5 million. That is higher than expected as outlined in the graph, mainly due to the delivery of the capital program. Rates at reporting date 3.5 million, which is 3.9%, as I've outlined previously. That is ahead of where we've been previously. Just noting that the issue date for the second half year levy is the 2nd of February. So the team's working on that now. Other debtors, there has been improvement in the sundry debtors over 90 days. We had 61 accounts this time last year, and we've only got 26 accounts at this stage, totaling 81,000. Borrowings at reporting date, 69.7 million. Just worth noting that we still to submit a borrowing application in the coming month in accordance with the debt policy, which at this stage will be $33.5 million. Any questions?
Thanks, Simon. Councillor Haveman.
Just querying what the situation is with those sales for debt arrears, whether there'd been any movement in that or whether
15 properties. I think it was the November or December meeting. This stage we've received payment for 6, so we have 9 still outstanding on that list.
Any other questions? No? All good, thank you. The next items relate to land sales. Christine's going to do those via Teams.
Yes.
All good?
yes, Christine, morning.
A1 of the local government regulation to the disposal of those lots, and that the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into contracts for the sale of those properties with buyers and require to all items to finalise those sales. If there's any questions?
Thanks, Christine. Any questions? No? All good, thank you.
The next item is G2, which relates to the sale of Lot 1, Buxton Road, Buxton. So council's the freehold owner of that lot, and that property has previously been resolved to be sold, given that it's surplus to council's needs. The lot was previously offered by sale by tender, however, that was not successful, and council's now received an offer to purchase the lot, which is for market value. The recommendation is that council apply the exception contained in section 236(1)AI of the local government regulation to the disposal, and that the CEO be authorised to enter into a contract and finalise that sale. And just for councillors' information, that will then have all of those parcels on Buxton Road under contract. If there's any questions?
No? All good?
The next item is item G3, which is in relation to lot 33 and 34 at the airport precinct. Council's the freehold owner of the airport precinct, and council's previously resolved to sell those lots as they're surplus to council's needs. The lots were offered for sale by tender, which was not successful. Council's now received an offer to purchase those lots, which are for market value. Therefore, the recommendation is that council apply the exception contained in section 236(1)AI of the local government regulation, and that the CEO be authorised to enter into the contract of sale with the buyers and finalise all the items for those lots.
Thanks, Christine. Comments or questions? Councillor Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Yeah, just for when this comes back to the ordinary meeting, we just haven't identified that these are not airside allotments. Obviously, the value of an airside allotment is going to be quite significantly high, and also have implications for council as far as airside access goes.
Yeah, we can, and I think we can confirm that under the current policy that any airside allotments can only be leased, not sold by freehold. And also by way of additional information, we have a report coming to an upcoming consultation day about further development of some additional lots at the airport. So that'll be coming up in late January or early February. These two lots, I think, from memory, have extended settlement terms, Christine, of around 6 months.
I'll just refer to Nicole, who's online as well. Nicole, if you can answer on those terms.
Okay. But yeah, short answer is no, they're not. Councillor Dempsey.
Yeah, just to add to obviously the comment back from yourself to Councillor Barnes, it's been discussed on several occasions here, both from the economic team and consultations, that anything to do with the airside block is to be leased, and then determination on the number of the lease. And we purposely, through the council here, is we purchase strategic other blocks that were on the airport area as well, to make sure we have some consistency as well. So just to give you peace of mind, Councillor Barnes, it's certainly not, and it was a priority, everyone around the room previously.
I wasn't concerned that was the case. It's just that for clarity in the report, I think it's a good idea to have it identified.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Nicole, can you just confirm those terms?
Yeah, just in relation to settlement of those airport lots, they are due to settle in April.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
And Mr. CEO, would you like me to have the report amended potentially in the policy implications to state that in accordance with council's policies, these lots are not airside and therefore there's no policy implications, just to clarify Councillor Barnes's request?
Yeah, I think for clarity, that'd be good. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you, will do.
Okay. Any other questions on those ones? No, all good. We'll move on to the operational plan.
So this is item G4.
Yep,
So
yep.
council it's adopted the operational plan for this year at its special budget meeting in June 2021. In accordance with section 174 of the local government regulation, the Chief Executive Officer is required to present a report to council about council's progress for implementing the annual operational plan at intervals of not more than 3 months. The quarterly report provides progress or process of monitoring and assessing council's progress in meeting those goals of the corporate plan. The report is attached with managers' comments on the progress over the last 3 months, and it's recommended that the 2021-2022 operational plan for Q2 be received and noted by council.
Thanks, Chris. Comments or questions? Councillor Haberman.
I just compliment the staff. You know, there's just about everything seems to be running better than schedule, and the ones that do have, you know, the question marks about them, there's sufficient explanation about those. So just well done to the team.
Thank you, Councillor Haberman. And that's against a backdrop, obviously, of some operational issues brought on by COVID, and also by the fact that we're still going through quite a significant development and building boom. Any other comments or questions? No, all good. We'll move on to supplier arrangement. You going to do that one?
Item G5 is a specialised supplier arrangement request with AM Proprietary Limited for GeoCortex licence agreement renewal. GeoCortex is the software product that delivers our geographic information system within council. It's used for the internal GTX and flood portal applications. Approximately 500 staff across the organisation use, as well as the external interactive mapping and flood gauge mapping applications. Council's been using this for about 8 years, and it would be cost ineffective to change to another system when the current system is functionally fit for purpose. Accordingly, we present this report to Council for consideration in entering into a specialised supplier arrangement. The recommendation is that Council enter into this arrangement with AAM Proprietary Limited for GeoCortex Essential Software, support and maintenance without first inviting written quotes pursuant to Section 235B of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and that this arrangement be for a period of 3 years.
Thanks, Simon. Comments or questions? Good, thank you. Then we have an application for a Open for Development extension. Michael, Councillor Honour is going to leave the room. Thank you.
Was report before you today is a request for an extension of a completion date contained in a Bundaberg Open for Development 2016 Incentive Scheme Infrastructure Agreement. The request relates to a 1 and 2 lot subdivision at 360 Ballbong Street, Millbank. The incentives for which were originally approved in March 2018 to provide a 50% discount. Following execution of the agreement in June of 2018, there was a request to extend that completion date, and that was extended to 31st of December 2019 by the CEO as per the terms of the infrastructure agreement. The applicant recently became aware in October last year after making contact with Council about what was required to finalise the development, that the agreement had in actual fact lapsed and the discount was no longer applicable. The owner, whose request is attached for your information, basically points to the fact that he'd made queries about the validity of the development approval and found out that it was still current and assumed that the incentives were still current as well. His advice. Currently, where the development's at is the request to approve the plan of subdivision, which is the final step for Council. It has been lodged. It is awaiting the submission of further information before all conditions can be deemed to be satisfied. The infrastructure charges will also have to be paid prior to that. Councillors, whilst it's open to you to agree to the request, the officer recommendation is that there is insufficient grounds to grant the extension as requested. The applicant was aware that an extension request was required to be made to extend the completion date, as evidenced by their earlier application in 2019. And there's been substantial time that's lapsed since the expiry of both the Bundaberg Open for Development incentive scheme and also this particular agreement. On those grounds, it's recommended that that request be declined.
Thank you, Michael. I'll just make one comment. I find it hard to believe that the applicant's argument that the incentive scheme is the only way in which they can make that project viable against the backdrop of what's happening currently in real estate is a little questionable. Comments or questions? All good. Thank you. Okay, that's all we have in general. We have one item in confidential that a number of councillors have declared a conflict. Can I just...
I'll be leaving the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Need to work some technology. Can we close that Teams meeting to everybody bar Christine? Or can we ask people that are on Teams to accept Christine to exit?